back to another Deadzone battle report on the Crimson Moon. Today we're going to be playing a 150 point game. So we are going to replay the Mission Patrol, which is mission 1 in the rulebook. We have our objective markers already set up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll for the items that are going to be randomly placed on the battlefield. And how you do that is you roll 1d8. This will determine the column that it's going to go in, and you're going to roll another d8, and that's going to determine the row that it's going to be in. So it's always preferred just to roll maybe a different colored die and a white die, just so that way you can kind of tell what's going to be what. So I'm going to do the first one here just as a little example. So it's going to be column 7, which will be here, and then 2 up. So it's just going to be a random one of these. So I'm going to take one, put it here. Now, if one of these happens to land on the starting location points, you just discard it. You don't grab another one. That counts as 1, but you just discard it because it can't start in the actual deployment area. And for deployment on this game, it's going to be the 4 across and then 1 up. So that one actually is okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and roll for the rest of them, and that'll have the battlefield ready to go. All right, board has been set. We have our items all randomly scattered. Now, how you determine how to put them in the certain cube is if there's 2 second level, you just put it on the highest level that it lands in there. So, for example, that instead of being on the bottom, it'd be on the second level because it's got to be on the highest one. And then you got 2 here. You got another one at the very edge over here. You got 1 right in the middle, and I believe you have 1 right in the corner there. Now to pick these up, all you have to do is just land in that cube, and it's a free action. You can just pick it up as long as there's nobody else in there, an enemy. You automatically pick it up and you add it to that character. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over our starting crews so that we can get this game going. So for today's mission, we are going to take the ForgeFathers, and they are going to be led by the Steel Warrior Huskarl, and he is going to be armed with the Hailstorm pistol and his trusty little forge hammer. And then for troops, we're going to have 3 troops. This is my 3 basic line. And so 2 are going to be armed with the Hailstorm bolter rifles, and 1 is going to be armed with the Dragon's Breath. And then for my specialists, I have 2 specialists. 1 is a Steel Warrior armed with the autocannon, and then the other is going to be the Forge Guard, the Veer-myn, and he is armed with the Hailstorm autocannon and a forge hammer. And I did have some extra points, so the Huskarl is armed with a med pack. This Steel Warrior that's stepping on top of this head is armed with a AP ammo, and the Fire Breath, or Dragon's Breath, is armed with a smoke grenade. And then I have the Veer-myn with the autocannon. He is armed with the AP ammo as well. And then the Forge Guard is going to be armed with a med pack as well. So those were a couple of extra points that I had, so I gave them the one-time item uses. These are just one-time uses, so once I've used them for the game, they're discarded. But that's going to be the ForgeFathers list. And returning with some vengeance will be the Veer-myn. And as you can tell, the ForgeFathers are going to be severely outnumbered. But I'm pretty sure with their resilience, they should be alright. But leading the Veer-myn is going to be the pack leader. I bought him a combat blade. And then his troops, which is quite a bit. We got 4 crawlers, nothing special there. 4 stalkers, nothing extra there. And then 1 specialist here, which is going to be the Nightmare, which he also has a combat blade. And just to try and get some points, we had extra points, so we bought some rat swarms, 2 of them, and they're just going to be running around trying to get some victory points, basically. But other than that, that's 150 points worth of Veer-myn. So now we're going to roll our recon test. So for the Veer-myn, they have their 5 dice. They need 5s or better. So they've got 2 successes. They got 1 8, which explodes. that is a negative, so they're going to have 3. And now we're going to have the 5 dice for the ForgeFathers. ForgeFathers were 4s or better, so they have 4 successes, so they actually beat the Veer-myn. So that means that they will be setting up and taking the first turn. So we are deployed. We have the ForgeFathers on this side. We have the 2 heavies in one corner, a couple of the Steel Warriors right next to the Huskarl, and 1 Steel Warrior taking cover here. On the opposite side, we have some of the Rat Swarms right behind the Nightmare, along with some Crawlers. More Crawlers here, along with the leader. So we'll start with the Veer-myn for the command die rows. So they have, this isn't too bad. They have 3 base, and then they have a tactician of 1, so they get 4 dice. Looks like that's a shooting. You know what, we're gonna keep that. We're gonna keep that for the Veer-myn. So they will have these set aside. And then now it's gonna be the ForgeFathers. They also have 3 dice, 4 dice, I'm sorry. 3 base and then +1 because they have a tactician because of their leader. So they'll have 1 square movement, extra activations, and another shooty. We're gonna reroll 1 of these. Another shooty, which is good. So they have 2 extra shots that they can do, and then they'll have an extra cube move, and then 1 extra activation they can do. So for this game, the winner is gonna be the first army to reach 16 points as we're playing 150 points. Also, we won't be using the secret missions. We'll be saving them for the next bat rep. And with that said, let's get this game rolling. So the ForgeFathers are gonna take the first turn. We are gonna activate the Steel Warrior with the Hailstorm autocannon. He's gonna move only 1, but he's gonna position himself like so to get a little bit of cover. He's gonna shoot right down this row and aim at that stalker. And he has a range of 8. So this is the 7th cube. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's perfectly in range. So he's gonna be rolling 3 dice. And he is out in the open, so he gets an additional bonus die. And the stalker is gonna have 3 for his defenses. So the Steel Warrior has a shooting of 4+, and the stalker has a save of a 5+. So whites is gonna be for the Steel Warrior, and the Veer-myn is going to be the colored one. So he's going to need 5s or better. Oh, geez. That's a lot of saves and a lot of crits there. So we got 2 exploding. So right now, the Veer-myn has got 2 exploding dice. Let's go ahead and roll those. He's got 2 more saves. So he's got a total of 5. And then the Steel Warrior's got 2 more 8s that exploded. And he's got 2, 4, he's got 6 total. 2, 4, 5. So he beats him by 1. I believe that is a dead rat because they only have 1 wound with no armor. So that is 1 dead crawler, as he had no armor and he failed by 1. And that's because the ForgeFathers still had a weight of fire 1, but since he hit all his dice, he didn't need it. So that is the ForgeFathers done. So now it's going to go to the Veer-myn. So actually, rather than going back with the Veer-myn, this ForgeFather is going to take another shot right down straight ahead and aim for that other crawler right behind that other crawler. So he's going to take a shot there. Now that crawler is going to have cover from the crawler that's in front of him. So he is going to get an additional die for that. So that means it'll be... Actually, it won't be, it'll be a basic 3 dice because he is in cover. And the crawler will have a base of 3 dice. So it'll be 3 on 3 because of the cover. So 5s for the colored dice and 4s for the white dice. And once again, we got 2 exploding 8s. So he's pretty much in the clear. He's already saved the 2, but just for giggles, No, he didn't, but he still blocks it. He got 2 of them. And how we shot again, we used one of the special dice to shoot one more time with the ForgeFathers. Now that is the end of the ForgeFathers turn. So it's going to go on to the Veer-myn. So Veer-myn are going to activate, and this crawler is just going to move up. Actually, I think this is a stalker. The stalker is just going to run up. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3, like so, and just hide behind there. And that is his activation. So actually the Veer-myn are going to spend another die. They're going to activate another rat. So we're going to run with this Veer-myn. And now he's going to run as well. Or I should say, I think it's a rush. So it's 1, 2, 3, and he's going to take cover right behind these. And that is the end of the Veer-myn turn. So now it's the ForgeFathers' turn. And we're going to go with the Forge Guard. He's going to run. So he'll have been 1, 2. He will get this for free. Let's see what that is. And I believe that's an AP armor, AP ammo. So he's going to have that handy. And he's just going to go like so here. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to spend a shoot dice on him so he can take a shot right down there to that stalker. So he's going to have his 3 dice. He'll be elevated for a bonus die, and he is wide open. So he's going to have 5 dice. The stalker is only going to have 3 dice for defense. So we're looking at 4s for the Forge Guard, and then 5s for the stalker, or crawl. I think it's a crawler. So he's going to have 3 hits for the Forge Guard, and only 1 success for the stalker. So he's going to have an 8 though. He got another 8, so that's 2 saves. Get another die. Nope, that fails. So he's got 2 successes. We got 1 8 for the Forge Guard. He got another success, so he got 4 to his 2. So that's going to obliterate that other Veer-myn. So actually, it's the guy in the front, because he's the one that's wide open. So that's going to be another point going to the ForgeFathers, and he is done. So our Veer-myn are starting to go down left and right. So we're going to activate this fella here, and he's just going to run, or I should say dash, over to this spot to start getting some victory points. So it's 1, 2, 3. And what he's going to do is he's going to spend one of his command dice, and he's going to move 1 more, and he's going to be in control of this command point right there. So that way they'll be starting to score. Okay, so that's going to be the end of the Veer-myn activation. Now it's going to go on to the ForgeFathers. So the Steel Warrior is just going to move up 1. He's going to move up. He's going to be in this one here, but he's going to try and take some cover in this spot here. He's going to pick up this. And, ooh, I don't know what that is. Guess let's take a look to see what that is exactly. It looks like a grenade, I think. So indeed it was. It's a smoke grenade for that fella. And then this guy picked up an ammo-piercing round. So that's what they have. They're one-use-only items. So on to the Veer-myn. So Veer-myn's turn, and they're just gonna run with the crawler. I believe this is a crawler. So he's gonna move 3. He's gonna move 1, 2, 3 to get behind cover here. Take some hiding. And actually we're gonna go ahead and spend another command to activate another fella before he gets blasted. And we're gonna go ahead and activate this rat here. And he's gonna run 1, 2, and then go up this ladder 3 to go into this spot right in here and get some cover behind this little area. Okay, and that's going to be the end of the Veer-myn turn. So ForgeFathers are going to go, and we're going to go with the Huskarl. He's just going to move up 1 to get cover here, and he's going to pick up this item, and I believe that. Hey, it's a victory point. All right. So the ForgeFathers are now ahead 3-0. So Veer-myn's gonna activate, and they're just gonna start running again. So we're gonna activate this fella here, and he's got to get into hand-to-hand. So he's gonna run 1, 2, 3 to get into some cover here, and actually be behind this area like so. And he's gonna be done. That's gonna be end of his turn. So ForgeFathers are gonna go, and this guard is gonna just run. He will move. I guess he will go this way. He'll go 1, 2, and then we're gonna spend one of the command dice, extra cube, and he's just gonna move one more to this area. He's gonna pick up that item, and he's gonna be hiding right behind this section here. And the item is, all right, he got some ammo. So he's gonna have an ammo clip right there. And actually, nah, that's it. So Veer-myn is gonna take the next turn, and we're just gonna move the giant nightmare, and he's just gonna run as well. So he will move 1, 2, as far as he can go. He's gonna take cover right behind this guy, but he's in this square right here, but he is activated. All right, so final activation is just gonna see the ForgeFather with the Dragon's Breath, and he's just gonna run as well. So he will move like so, take cover behind this building, and that's gonna be all the activations for the ForgeFathers. So Veer-myn are gonna go, and this rat swarm is just gonna run right through here and be on that location. So he'll be going 1, 2 in there, and then 3 right back here. He's gonna be right behind this stalker. Which one of those? And since the ForgeFathers are all activated out, we're gonna activate this other rat swarm. He's gonna be right behind the nightmare. And then the only guy left is gonna be the pack leader, and he's gonna run as well. He's gonna try to get some cover right behind him. So he's gonna run 3. 1, 2, 3. Actually, he can go here. He can go to here so that he can get more victory points. Because he's here, so it's 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect. And that's gonna be the end of the round. So at the end of the round, Veer-myn are gonna score 1, 2, so it's gonna be 3 points to the Veer-myn. And the ForgeFathers, they haven't gotten on any objectives yet, but they do have a 3-point lead, or a 1-point lead, because of the 2 deaths they've killed, and then the 1 point they got from the item pickup. On to round 2. So a quick correction, one of the Veer-myn was still alive. I forgot they have 2 wounds apiece, so I believe it was this Steel Warrior that had shot him, and he only did 1 point of damage. So all I did was I moved him from that cube. He just ran up to here to take cover. He does have a wound on him. And I also changed the victory points. Right now, the ForgeFathers are at 2, and the Veer-myn are at 3. So actually the Veer-myn are ahead. Now on to round 2. So command die roll for the Veer-myn. They have a splat, an additional hand whip, close combat, 1 cube extra die, 1 extra cube move, and extra activation. We're gonna go ahead and keep those. So that will be their command for them. And now we're gonna roll for the ForgeFathers, getting the 4 dice. And that is nice. Don't know, he'll be needing the splat, but those extra shots would be nice because there's a lot of Veer-myn coming their way. I'll re-roll this. Nope, I guess it was meant to be. So it's going to be 2 extra shots, an extra activation, and a splat. And since the ForgeFathers finished activating first, they're going to take the first activation. So they are going to move. They're going to activate this Steel Warrior first. He's just going to spend 1 to move, a basic move, to get up like so, up the ladder, taking his ammo. And he is going to go ahead and take a shot at the little guy, since he's a lot faster. So he's going to try and take him out first. Alright, so since he is in higher elevation, he's going to have his base 3 dice. He will have an additional die for being on higher ground, an additional 2 dice for being out in the open. I completely forget that it's +2, not +1 for being out in the open. And he's going to go ahead and spend his ammo to gain an additional die on top of that. So actually, you know what? He's going to take a shot at the big fella. Let's see if he can't take him down. Now that he's got this many dice, and then the big fella's gonna have 3 survival dice. So after looking at the stats, it's gonna be 4 better all the way around. So 4 betters for the Steel Warrior and 4 better survival for the Nightmare. Here we go. So the Nightmare only has 1 success, and the Steel Warrior actually got quite a bit. He got 3, 4, 5. We're gonna go ahead and spend the splat for a reroll. He needs 4 better to shoot. Got another hit. Oh man, is it even worth it? Probably not, because even if he rerolls 1 die, he's only gonna take out 2. He's gonna take 4 damage, and I believe he has 1 armor, so he's still taking 3 damage. So actually, he does have a chance to survive. He has 3 health, so we're gonna re-roll 1 of the dice. We're gonna spend the splat, and he needs a 4 better to at least survive with 1 wound. He does it. So he'll negate those 2. He has 1 point of armor. Ah, no, he doesn't. He still does it. He still takes the damage. It's still 3 wounds. All right, never mind. So the Nightmare goes down in a hail of bullets. He explodes. So well done, Steel Warrior. All right, so that is his shot. Well done indeed. Totally worth it. All right, so now actually the Steel Warrior is going to spend another shot from his command dice. He's going to shoot 1 more time. He's going to take a shot at this fella here. He's going to have 2 dice for being out in the open, his base 3, and he's on higher level 1. So the Crawler is just going to have the 3 dice for survival. So the Crawler needs 5 or better for survival, 4 better for the Steel Warrior. So let's see, the Steel Warrior missed 1 for sure. But he did get all these hits, and they did get 1 explosion. Looks like they both got 1 explosion. Oh, that's a fail. So let's go ahead and roll for the 8. Nope, that didn't help him. And then the 8 for the Steel Warrior. Nope, he missed. But I think it's enough to take him down. So it's going to be those blocking that. No armor. He's going to take 3 wounds. He only has 2. So that's another dead rat. And that's going to be the end of the Steel Warrior. Well done, Steel Warrior. He took down 2 big threats right there. So now it is the Veer-myn's turn, and they're going to get a little bit of revenge here. So we're going to go ahead and spend a command die to move an additional cube. So this rat here is just going to move up to this spot. And then he's going to take a normal activation. He's just going to move 2, 1, 2, and he needs to take down some of this heavy firepower. So he's going to strike this guy here. He is going to have a buddy. So let's see if he can maybe get a good strike action here. So it's going to be 3 base for the Stalker, I'm sorry. The Stalker, he's going to get 1 for moving into the cube as a charge. And then he's going to have, actually I think that's it. wrong dice. So it's gonna have 4 dice total. The Huskarl, it's not the Huskarl, that's the Steel Warrior. He's gonna have base 3, and he has a buddy. So he's gonna have 4, so it'll actually be 4 on 4. So I believe the crawlers are 4s to hit, and the Steel Warriors I think are 3s, or actually 5s. Let me double check. So Steel Warriors have a fight of 5 and a survival of 4. So he's gonna try and survive, since it's a little better ratio here. So 4s and 4s. All right. So that is a miss, but the Veer-myn's got 3 hits with 1 explosion, and then the Steel Warriors got 3 hits as well with 2 explosions. So he's needing 4s to survive. He survived 1 more, and then he had just 1. I think I accidentally missed it. I accidentally shoved it and turned it into an 8, but it should have just been 1. So no, he missed. So actually he manages to fend it off, and he is okay. But since he survived, that means he doesn't do any damage to the Veer-myn. So we're gonna activate the Steel Guard. I believe it's the Steel Guard. He's gonna, first activation to move, he's gonna move like so here. And then he is gonna get just in range of the boss, right straight ahead is a Packmaster. So he's gonna take a shot at him. It's gonna be in cover, so it'll be 3 dice, but he does have higher elevation. So it'll be 4 dice, and the pack leader is gonna have 3 for survival. So it's gonna be 5s or better for the pack leader, and 4s for the Forge Guard. So there's 2 misses for the pack leader, 1 miss, 2 misses. Whoops, that was an 8 for the Forge Guard. So 1 exploding 8. He got another exploding 8. Uh-oh, we've seen this happen. So he's got 4 hits, and the pack leader's got 1, only 1 save. So that's gonna offset 1, so it's gonna be 3 damage. I believe he's got 1 armor and he's got 3 wounds. Let me double check. So no, he does not have 3 armor. I mean 3 health. He only has 2 health, 1 armor. So he's gonna have to spend 1 of these dice to try and survive here. So if he doesn't get this 5 or better, he is dead. He's good. He gets an 8. Actually, he got an exploding 8. Let's see if he can block a little bit more. No. So he's gonna survive, but he is gonna take 1 damage, so he is injured. Guess what's gonna happen? We're gonna take another shot, and it's gonna be going down once again. 4 dice for the Forge Guard, 3 survival for the pack leader, 4s and 5s. So 2 saves for the pack leader, and then 2 more once again. 2 if he gets it. Oh, here we go again. If he hits this, he's gonna be dead. And he got him. He hits on 4s. Those 2 will cancel that out. Take that for the armor. He's gonna take that last point of damage. And then down goes the pack leader. Okay, well, that wasn't very good for the Veer-myn. So he's gonna take some revenge. He's gonna take a shot at the Forge Guard. He is not out in the open. He's got cover, so it's gonna be 3 dice. And it's gonna be 3 dice for the Forge Guard also. So we're looking at 5s and 4. Actually, it's I think 4s for survival. Okay, so it's 6s for the crawlers and 4s for the Forge Guard. So the Forge Guard, he saved 3, and he's got an exploding. The Veer-myn only got 1. It's an exploding 8. Nothing. The exploding die for the Forge Guard doesn't matter because he's already saved his die, and he is just fine. Wow, you talk about brutal. These ForgeFathers are just dirty. Oh my gosh, I thought for sure they were going to take some damage here and there, but man, the Veer-myn have not had any luck so far. Okay, so he's just going to activate. He's going to take some swings at this fella here and see if he can't get him off his back. So he'll have 4 dice because he does have a buddy, and it'll be 3 dice for the Veer-myn. So I'm needing 5s for the ForgeFathers, and then I'm needing 4s for the Veer-myn. Wow, the Veer-myn just completely whiffed, and the ForgeFather actually hit once. So he got 1 lucky hit in, and he is now injured. So now the Veer-myn are gonna move, and we're gonna move a rat swarm. He's gonna rush, so he's gonna move 1, 2, and they have agile, so they can actually freely move to a second upper location. So he's gonna jump up there, and we're gonna start a battle. All right, so nothing special there. It's gonna be 4 on 3. The rat swarm's got a bonus 1 because they charged up there. So we're doing 5s all the way around. So the ForgeFather got 2. And the rat swarm got nothing at all. So I'm sorry, he was just gonna fight back. So he actually did 2 damage to the rat swarm. I believe he destroyed it. Let me take a look and see if he has how many wounds that this rat swarm has. So the ForgeFathers only have 2 guys left, and actually the Huskarl is just gonna run this way to get in the hand-to-hand and try and take out this rat. So it's gonna be 1, 2, and he's gonna initiate combat. He's gonna have 3 buddies, so that for sure is gonna put him at 5 dice plus 1 because he charged in, and it's gonna be 3. Okay, so I made a mistake. So he's only gonna have an additional die, because no matter how many extra friends you have, you only get the 1 bonus die. So he'll be 3 for base, 1 extra for moving in, 1 extra for the buddy, and then 1 extra because he's injured. So he'll have a total of 6 to the Veer-myn's 3. So it's gonna be 4 or better all the way around, because the Huskarl hits on 4s and the Veer-myn hits on 4s. Man, the Veer-myn are just whiffing bad. That's 3 misses there, 2 misses here, and 1 more. So it's going to be a total of 3 going through, no 8s. But there's no armor. He's already injured, so down goes the Veer-myn. Death by hammer. And now it's going to go on to, now it's going to go on to the Veer-myn side. Veer-myn are going down pretty bad. So here we go. He's gonna make a rush. So 1, 2, 3, and he's gonna initiate combat with this fella right here. So it'll be 3 dice plus 1 for charging in. So it's gonna be 4 to 3. So we're looking at 3 base for the Steel Warrior and 4 for the Veer-myn. And that is a crawler, so he's hitting on 4s. And actually, we're gonna go ahead and survive with the Steel Warrior, so he's gonna be surviving on 4s as well. So that is not the greatest roll for the Steel Warrior. He's gonna take 1 so far, and 4s are better. He got an exploding 8 and another 8, and so he's got 2, 4, 5 hits. Negate 1. So it's going to be 4 going through. He's got 1 armor, 3 damage. So down goes finally. One of the Steel Warriors are going down. So that is the end of the round for the Steel Warriors. They are done. And 1 guy has gone down. So now it's just going to be all Veer-myn. So back to the Veer-myn side. So the injured Veer-myn is just going to run down so that he can claim this point. And he's gonna just hide in there, so that way he won't get any shots at him. Make sure he takes his damage. And now we're just gonna activate this other Veer-myn, and he needs to get in there. So he's gonna just dash also. So he will move 3 like so to this spot here. Not really in cover. Actually, you know what? I think we're better. And needs to get some sort of cover. So he's gonna hide behind these little things. So he's gonna be in this cube, but he's hiding behind that canister. And I believe the only thing left is gonna be this rat swarm. So it's just gonna run up and it's gonna attack here. So he's gonna have 3 base, an additional one for charging in there, and then an additional one for having a buddy. So it's gonna be 5 dice to the 3, and that steel board is just gonna try and survive. So we're looking at 5s or better for the rat swarm, and then 4s to survive for the steel warrior. So the steel warrior is gonna have 2 misses for the rat swarm, but it did get the 2 8s. So he needs some 8s here. He got 1 more. So it's a total of 4. So it's going to be blocking 2, but he does have 1 armor. So I believe he's going to be down to 1 damage. So indeed, the Veer-myn did manage to damage that steel warrior. So he's down to 1 wound, and I believe that is going to be the end of the turn. So now tally up some points here. We've got 2 points there, another point there, so that's going to give the Veer-myn 3 points. And they killed 1 of the steel warriors. I believe that's another 2 points. Let me double check. All right, so after tallying everything up, it is the Veer-myn at 8 points, because the steel warriors are worth 2 points apiece. And after holding the 2 extra objectives, they had an additional 3 points. So it was 5 points added to their 3, so that's 8. And then the Steel Warriors, the ForgeFathers, I mean, they got 2 points for the pack leader, 2 points for the nightmare, and a point each for destroying these crawlers and stalkers. So that equaled out to another 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. They had 2, so that puts them at 9. So they're up by 1. So that is the end of turn 2. Now let's go on to turn 3 with the ForgeFathers taking the first turn. So here we go with turn 3. Let's see. Well, actually, the Veer-myn lost their leader, so they only have their 3 command dice. So they got a splat. We'll re-roll the splat. So they'll have an additional bonus die, an additional activation, and another round of combat. So they have no choice but to keep that. And then I guess we'll go black. I accidentally did white with the Veer-myn, but that's all right. So we'll get 4 dice, command dice for the ForgeFathers, because they still have their leader. So we'll go ahead and keep that. Splat, additional bonus move, and additional activation. So we'll keep that for sure for them. And since the ForgeFathers finished activating first, they're going to take the first activation. So they are going to go ahead and activate with the Housecarl first. So he is just going to spend 1 of his bonus dice to move 1 bonus square. So he'll just move like so here. And then he'll take 1 action to move into base contact here. And he's going to strike this Veer-myn right there. So he is going to be with 3 dice, plus 1 for charging in. The Veer-myn is just going to have the 3 dice to survive. So we're looking at 4s or better for the Housecarl. And Veer-myn is just going to fight back. At this point, we might as well. So he's going to need us, I believe it's 6s. Actually, no, 4s are better. 4s are better. I keep forgetting that they are much nastier in hand-to-hand. Alright, so the Veer-myn is fighting back. So he's got 3 hits and an explosion. And we have only 2 hits on the Housecarl side. Ooh, I wonder if we should... Yeah, you know what? We're going to go ahead and spend the splat. Actually, you know, we'll keep the splat. We'll discard this to go ahead and get a reroll on 1 of these dice. So he's got 3 hits. So right now it's 3-3, but we do have an explosion. on the Veer-myn side, and he misses. So 3 to 3 is just going to be, it's just going to offset. So no, it's a stalemate. And that's going to be it for the ForgeFathers. So Veer-myn side is going to go, and this crawler is going to go ahead and activate and charge in here with his 1 activation. So he's going to have 3 base, 1 for charging in, and 5 for the buddy. So we're going to be looking at 3 for the Huskarl, and then 3 base, bonus for charging in, bonus for the buddy. So that is another, that is actually a stalker. The stalkers are the hand-to-hand, the crawlers are the shooters. So we're needing Forger better, and then the Huskarl is just going to strike back. So he's going to need Forger better as well. So Forge all the way around. So it looks like we got 6. The 2 miss. Actually a whole bunch of 2s. That's not a very good roll. No explosions on the Veer-myn side. And we do have 1 explosion on the Huskarl side. So with the 1 explosion, the Huskarl has a chance here to do some damage, and he gets another hit. So I guess what we will do for the Veer-myn is we're going to go ahead and discard one of the command dice. He's going to discard the extra activation to get a reroll on 1 of his dice and see if he can get a hit. No, he does not. He gets a 1. Okay, so it's going to be 2 blocks, but no shields. So that's going to kill off another Veer-myn. The Huskarl took 1 down. And there goes that fella right there. So Steel Warriors are going to go, and we're going to activate this Huskarl here with the Hailstorm auto rifle, or auto cannon I should say, and he's just going to take 1 action to move up on top of this building, and he's going to take a shot right straight ahead there. He'll be in cover, so it'll be 3 dice, but we're going to spend 1 of our command dice to add an additional die, so it'll be 4 dice for the Huskarl, the Steel Warrior, and it'll be 3 dice survive test for the Veer-myn, which is, I believe that is the crawler. So we are needing 4s for the Steel Warrior and 6s for survival. So only 1 6. But then again, the Huskarl the Steel Warrior didn't do that great either. So it was only 1 hit and he dodged it. So he's in good shape. So it's going to go to the Veer-myn side, and the Veer-myn are going to activate their rat swarm that is not injured. We'll go with the good one. So he's going to have a 3 fight, and he's going to have +1 for the bonus for the buddy, and then he's going to have +1 because that Steel Warrior is injured. So it'll be 5 dice, and the Steel Warrior is just going to try and survive. He's going to need 4s or better on his dice, and the rat swarm is going to need 5s. Let's see, the rat swarm got 2 explosions, and the Steel Warrior got 2 saves but no explosions. So let's add 2 more dice for the rat swarm. He got another explosion, take that one out, and he got 4 hits total. So that means it's going to be 2, and then he's going to be the armor save. So 1 is going to go through, and that's going to be the death of another Steel Warrior. Got overrun by rats. Rats. Take that off. And now it goes on to the ForgeFathers. So now we're going to go with the Steel Warriors. The ForgeFathers, I'm going to get that mixed up every time. So they're going to spend 1 action to move. He's going to move like so up on top. And he is just going to torch this whole cube right here. So how that works is you're going to roll a 3 dice shoot test. So he's going to have his 3 dice. You can't modify it and you can't re-roll this. So it's just his shooting value, which is a 4. So he's going to need 4s or better to hit that area. So he got just 1 hit. So now everybody that's in that cube, it has to take a survival test. So if they fail any, that's how much damage they're going to take. If they pass it, they're all going to be lit on fire. So we'll start with this guy first. They have a survive of 5 or better, I believe. My bad, they have a survive of 6. So 6s for the first guy. He gets 1, so he manages to not take any damage as of yet, but he is set on fire. And now we go to the damage rat swarm, and he needs 6s. And he does save it, so he's okay there, but he's also lit on fire. All right, and that's gonna be his activation. So we will activate this crawler here. He's just gonna move up. For his first action, he's gonna get to this location right here, and then he's gonna take a nice shot at the open Dragon's Breath Steel Warrior right there. So he's gonna be at 3 dice and +1 because he's in higher elevation, and he's at +2 more because he's out in the open. So we'll take a survive test for the Steel Warrior. So he'll have his 3 dice, and he is needing 6s to hit, and the Steel Warrior is needing, he's needing 4s or better to survive. Here we go. And actually, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and spend one of the command dice. He's gonna add 1 more die. So you'll have a total of, oh man, let's make sure we got enough dice here. He's got 3 base, 2 for right now in the open, 1 for being a higher level. So actually I need 1 more because he added the extra die from the command. All right, now we're ready. So 6s to hit. Not bad at all for the Steel Warrior. He got 3 saves. And the Veer-myn crawler, he missed twice, but he did get 4, and he did get a oh, there it is. I was like, I thought he got an 8, but yes he did. He got an 8 there. So he's gonna add 1 more die. He got another 8, nice, and that one missed. So we're looking at 3 saves. That'll take that off, and they have 1 armor, so he's gonna take a damage. So 1 damage going on the Dragon's Breath hero there. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of the Veer-myn turn. So on to the ForgeFathers. ForgeFathers are gonna go, and we're gonna activate the Forge Guard, and he's actually gonna go ahead and sprint. So he will move 1, 2 to go in there, and that's going to initiate a combat with the stalker that's in there. Make sure, whoop, I'm dropping off everything. Make sure we take his little ammo piercing thing there. So it's going to be 3 dice +1 because he charged in to the survival. Oh, actually +1 because he's injured. So we're looking at 4s or better for the Steel Guard, and 4s. Actually, that is not a that's a crawler, not a stalker. So let me see. I think he's a 6. So yeah, 5s for the crawler, and then 4s for the Forge Guard. Here we go. Well, the crawler is trying. He got 2 saves. And then the Forge Guard, he got a whole bunch of hits. And 1 more for the explosion. He got another exploding 8. And he got another hit. So 2, 4, 6, 7 hits to 2. So beat him by 5. That is 1 dead rat. Explodes in the process. And let me take out that wound. And that is the end of the ForgeFathers' turn. All right, so the Veer-myn are gonna go, and the rat swarm is gonna try, he has to try and put out the fire first, so he has to take a survival test. So he survives on 6 or better on his 3 dice, and then the fire hits on 4s or better with a test of 3 dice. So whatever the fire beats it by, that's how much damage the rat swarm's gonna take. So let's hope that that rat swarm can get some saves. Rat swarm saves nothing. but it is going to take 1 additional damage because there's only 1 hit with the 5. So that means that that rat swarm is going to be at 3 damage, but the fire is out. And that means he can continue with his movement because that's just a free action that they have to do in order to put the fire out. So the rat swarm is just going to run. So it'll move 1, 2 to get into this area here and try and get this victory point here. Might be too little too late, but we'll find out for sure at the end of this turn. And that is the end of the Veer-myn. So now it's going to go to the Forge Guard. Forge Guard, I believe, only have this fella left, so he's going to take a shot up here to this Veer-myn. Yeah, I believe that's a crawler, and he's going to have his 3 dice. He's in cover, so it's just going to be a base of 3 and 3 versus 3. So 4s are better for the Steel Warrior and 6s for the crawler. The crawler dodged. He got the 7. Actually, no, he did dodge. He got the 4 there, and they're good. So that is a miss for the Forge Guard. Oh, actually, he does have weight of fire. Keep forgetting that. He actually gets 2 hits. So 2 hits. That means that he's going to be wounded. He has no armor. So that'll take a damage there. And that is the end of the ForgeFathers. So we're going to take a chance here, and he's going to attempt to take out the Huskarl. I mean, I seriously doubt it, but hey, stranger things have happened. That's the cool thing about this game. You get plenty of 8s, you can take down anybody, no matter how big they are. Alright, so we're needing 4s for the Stalker, and then 4s for the Huskarl. The Huskarl blocks all of it. Oh, he was fighting back, I'm sorry. It's just 1. So he's going to block that, but he's going to take 2 damage. And actually the Huskarl is successful. Takes him down. And that is going to be it for the Veer-myn, but actually that is it for the ForgeFathers. So the only last guy left here is just going to be this fellow over here, and he's going to just try and bum rush the Steel Warrior. It's probably suicide, but hey, maybe he can take him down. Let's see. So it's going to be 1, 2. He's going to initiate combat. So it's going to be 4 dice for that Stalker, and then it's going to be 3 dice for the Steel Guard. So 4s are better for. Oh, actually, that is not a Stalker. That is a crawler. So he's a shooter. So that means he's actually hitting on 6s, I believe. So well, for sure, I know he missed these. 3 and a 1. He did get 2 7s. I'm sure those are hits. That's a miss for him. So actually, that's just gonna bounce off. So it's a stalemate there. But we're gonna spend our last command dice, and he's gonna strike again. So this time around, it's just gonna be 3 versus 3. So 6s and 4s. So 2 saves for the Steel Guard with an exploding 8. So he's got 3, and the crawler only got 1, but exploding, he got 2. So he's gonna take a damage. All right. So a wounded crawler, and I believe that is gonna be the end of the round. That is everybody gone. So now let's tally up points. So the Veer-myn, they score at least 1 point there, and then they score 2 here, so that's 3 contested there, and nobody's controlling that. So an additional 3 points for them, and then they took out 1 of the Steel Warriors this turn, so it's another 2 points. So it's going to be 5 points, so they're at 13. I'm going to need another die. All right, so they were at 13, and the ForgeFathers are at 11, because they hold no objectives. So that's really hurting them right now. And then they got denied there. So they're sitting at 11 points to 13. So 3 more points for the Veer-myn, and they can actually win this game, even though they've taken some mass casualties. So going into turn 4, they are not getting the first turn. Unfortunately, this is going to go back to the ForgeFathers. Let's see if the Veer-myn can pull through. Start of turn 4. Command dice for the Veer-myn. They're going to have an additional activation, additional die, and additional combat. We're going to keep that. So that's going to be their 3. So now we're going to have 4 for the ForgeFathers. They will have an additional combat, 2 additional activations, and an extra cube. Let's reroll these additional activations. Oh man, they're going to go hand to hand big time. Okay, so an additional combat, so that's going to be their final dice for commands. So starting off, we're going to go ahead and shoot the Battlereport, I believe that's its name, the Hellstorm autocannon right up here to this stalker. So it's going to be a base 3 versus 3 for survival and for shooting. So we're looking at 4s for the Steel Warrior and then 5s for the Veer-myn. So 3 hits, and the Veer-myn saves 2, so it's gonna be 1 block. Oh man, he has to save it or else he's gonna die if he doesn't save it. He has no armor. So let's take a chance. We're gonna go ahead and we'll spend the combat to get a reroll, and he needs a 5 or better to save here. He gets it with a 7. And he saves it. So that is the end of his turn. So now it's going to go on to the Veer-myn. And Veer-myn's going to go ahead and return the favor, but this time he's going to shoot at the open ForgeFather that's here, which is the one with the dragon's breath, and he's one higher level up. So he'll have his 6 dice. He's going to have 3 base, 2 for the out in the open, and then 1 because he's on a higher level. So he's going to be shooting with all these. There's going to be a 3 die survival test. We're looking at 6s to shoot because that is a crawler, and then 4s to try and survive. So, well, once again, the Veer-myn's dice no bound because they only got 1 8, and the Steel Warrior got an exploding 8, so he's gonna save 3, and then let's see if the Veer-myn can get some additional 8s. Yes, he did. He got 1. So it's only 2, so he fails. He's gonna block the 2, and then he's gonna have 1 extra. So the Veer-myn does no damage. So the Steel Warriors are going to go. Actually, the ForgeFathers are going to go. Forge Guard's going to strike right here at this crawler. So he's going to be looking at 3 base plus an additional 1 because it's an injured rat. And the Veer-myn is going to have 3 for survival. Let's see if we can't clear him off that objective. So 4s for the Steel Guard, or the Forge Guard, and then 5s for the Veer-myn. He whiffed that. Nothing going for the Veer-myn. And all kinds of hits for the Forge Guard. So yeah, that guy's just a big pile of goo thanks to the hammer. And he has now taken control of that objective. So actually, you know what he's gonna do? He still has another activation. He still has another action point. So he's just gonna move 1 over to here, and then we're gonna spend the command die with the extra bonus cube move, and he's just gonna move on top of here. Take control of that. And that is the end of the round for the ForgeFathers. All right, well, there isn't really much else that the Veer-myn want to do. The rat swarm doesn't really want to move out of here, so he's just gonna lay low, kind of move back, and he is done. It's gonna go on back to the ForgeFathers. So ForgeFathers are gonna just activate here. We're gonna move. He's gonna run, actually. He's gonna dash. So he will move 1, 2, like so, to take control of that objective. And it's gonna go back to the Veer-myn. So back to the Veer-myn. Rat swarm once again isn't gonna do anything. He's just gonna stay on this objective. Gonna get some cover there, and he's done. So back to the the ForgeFathers, and he really doesn't have line of sight to him, so he can't shoot there because he wouldn't be able to see anything. So the only thing really he's gonna do is just run down. He'll go 1, 2 to there. And he will probably just get ready to maybe torch one of these things for next turn, depending on what the points, how many points have been scored already. Other than that, I believe that's going to be the end of the turn. Veer-myn only have the 3 left on the field. Everyone's activated. And let's just tally up some points. Okay, so before I tally up points, I forgot he is on fire, so I have to test him to see if he doesn't take any damage. So on white, it's a 4 better for the fire, and he survives on 6s. So 6 or betters for the colored dice. Holy cow! All right, so it's gonna be 1 survival, but there is an explosion. So no, nothing happens there, but he is gonna be taking 2 damage. He blocks 1, fires out, but he does take 2 damage. I don't think it really matters here, but luckily he doesn't die because he still controls that 2 points. So after counting everything up, the Veer-myn do score their 2, 3. That puts them at 16, right on the dot. And then the Steel Warriors the ForgeFathers a little too late, but they scored 2, 3. They killed nothing this turn. So that puts them at 14. So this actually is a victory for the Veer-myn. Hey, all right, the Veer-myn finally pull one out. So a couple of mistakes I know that I made in the video. I know I forgot about the autocannon guns. They have a weight of fire, so they could have been able to reroll at least one of their dice. I know I forgot that a few times. Also, the Veer-myn, the crawlers also have weight of fire 1. They should have been able to reroll 1 die on their shooting actions. So I know I made those mistakes. Also over here, he shouldn't have been able to move after he attacked over here because it counts as a long action after you've struck in combat. So technically they would have been another point down. They wouldn't have scored that, and they would have just scored the 2. But all in all, this was man, this was an interesting game. I think what really helped the Veer-myn was just getting these points. Scoring these points every turn really helps out, and knowing that the ForgeFathers were just too slow to get on those points, it really came back and bit them in the butt because they just couldn't catch up with the scoring, even though they slaughtered like almost 90% of the Veer-myn themselves. But at the very end, even these little rat swarms, they actually pulled through for the Veer-myn to score those points. But let me know down below in the comments if you saw anything else I might have done wrong. And if you haven't done so, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're always looking at the likes for all our videos. The more likes we get, the more we know that you guys want more content. So we'll definitely be bringing more Deadzone if we see all those likes coming in. And we are working on more armies as well. I know we're going to be getting the Asterians painted up at least enough points so that we can play in a battle with them, and just try and get more terrain painted up as well. I did like the fact that we had a little bit more scattered throughout this particular scenario, but we are working on more to get a little bit more full. A game like this just really needs to have terrain on here so that we can prevent any clear shots, especially when you have dwarves that shoot all the way across the field. But that's going to be pretty much it for this one, guys. Thanks for sticking around and checking out our videos. Thanks for all the support. And in the meantime, just keep rolling dice and don't forget to always paint your walls crimson. Have a good one, folks.